Hey everybody, thanks for coming today to listen to our valuable presentation, How to Lose Body Fat and Keep It Off Forever. That's a pretty strong statement, but if you stick around to the end, I think that you'll learn why we think this is true. Everything we're going to talk about today is 100% backed by science and based on science. So if you're thirsty, grab a glass of water. If you'd like to take notes, get a pen and paper and get ready. So my name is Patrick Gilfrey, and I'm the CEO and founder of QuickHIT. And what I want you to do is to stay around till the end because we're going to have a special offer for you. So that's very important. So I'd like to start off by who this presentation is not for. And I will tell you that we will have people who will not stick around throughout the entire presentation because QuickHIT is not for everyone. And I can tell you it's definitely not for you if you're already happy with the way you look, if you don't want to improve your self-esteem, and you feel like you already know everything about health and fitness, and most importantly, you value your wealth over your health. And sadly, you're just not the kind of people that we can help. But here's the good news. This is for you if you're not happy with the way you look. If you want to improve your self-esteem and you want to learn more about how to be healthy and fit, and you do value your health over your wealth, I can tell you, you've come to the right spot. What I want to do is take some time and let's kind of project in the future. And let's imagine what your life would be like if you didn't have to take any more medications. You could eat and drink whatever you wanted. You could play with your grandkids or your kids without pain. You could wear whatever you wanted on the beach, and you didn't really care what people thought about you. And you could live life to the fullest. Does this sound like something that you'd like to achieve? If so, type yes in the comment bar. If I could do it, I would too right now, but I can't because I'm doing the presentation. But, oh, yep, we got a few there. A few people saying, yep, this is what I'd like. I mean, who wouldn't? Basically what we are, we're kind of selling the dream. And hopefully by the time I'm done with this, you'll understand that we have found kind of like the missing link to your true happiness and your ability to live life on your terms. So what this presentation will cover is we're going to go over today is what we call the QuickHIT Method, which again is based 100% on real science and research. And it's all backed by science, peer-reviewed literature. As a matter of fact, I've spent the last 5 years doing the research and development behind this. And I can say without a doubt that it works. We're going to give you step-by-step instructions and basically a roadmap of how to permanently lose your body fat and get it done once and forever and keep it off. And no, there's no credit card necessary. I'm not going to try to sell you anything during this presentation. As a matter of fact, at the end, I'm going to give you a free offer. And what I really want to do is educate you and get you to understand what's taken me 5 years to figure out and has allowed us to already, in a very short period of time, start to change hundreds of people's lives. And no, this is not a gimmick. This is not the latest diet craze or fitness craze. Again, this is all based on science. We don't do it if it didn't work, and we guarantee your results. I'd like to start off real quick by talking about some of the results that we have had at QuickHIT. And we have many, many of them, but here's just a quick one with Heather. Heather is 30 years old. You know, she's very busy. The problem with Heather is as she went through her 20s, she was pretty fit. And then she got married, as most of us do. And thankfully, she was pregnant and she has a beautiful daughter named Cassie. The problem was after she had her daughter, she just noticed she could not lose the baby weight no matter what she did. And it really affected her. It affected the way she felt, affected her self-esteem. It affected her marriage. And basically, I think the real turning point for Heather was after she tried tons of diets and other fitness things, mostly doing fitness things at home because she did not have a lot of time, some boot camp stuff. But what really shocked her was when she went in for one of her checkups. And she told me this, and this unfortunately is a story that we hear quite often, is that based on the amount of weight that she had gained and kind of her food choices that she was making, she had become what they call pre-diabetic, which is the first stage of becoming type 2 diabetic. And it's a metabolic disease. And that really freaked Heather out. And that's when she decided she needed to do something. And thankfully, she was able to find us and find me and start to work out at QuickHIT and follow our method. And she's done phenomenally. She's lost over 30 pounds. She's gained 10 pounds of lean muscle, which is awesome. And she's never felt better. And we're so proud of her. And, you know, I think she's looking forward to actually extending her family. So that's awesome. Here's another great example of one of our clients who we've been able to help and really transform her life. So Elizabeth, she struggled. I mean, we'll have to face it, as Elizabeth was obese. She was technically morbidly obese, and she had all the problems that went with that. She unfortunately developed all the way to have type 2 diabetes, which we're happy to say she no longer has. She was taking insulin. She was taking all kinds of drugs, some blood pressure medication drugs, and she was just all out of sorts. And it was not from lack of effort. I can tell you, Elizabeth had tried. She showed me all the stuff she'd tried. She was doing boot camps, and her big thing is she thought she'd like to go to these group sessions, doing these kind of like boot camp style workouts, which I have nothing against people who do anything to try to help themselves to work out. I'm 100% for it. Unfortunately, as you learn in this presentation later on, that it's kind of a waste of time, but you know, you do what you only know. And so she was told that going to these group boot camps was going to be good. And some of her friends were going. She thought they were her friends. And then one day during one of the sessions, she said she heard, and she told me this in tears. It was quite sad how one of these ladies she thought was her friends they were making fun of her behind her back. Because she couldn't do one of these jumping around. I don't even know what these, a jump squat or something. I don't know what it was, she said, but she was very self-conscious. And that comment that she heard put her over the edge. And she quit. But again, somehow we were able to meet, and she started with QuickHIT, and quite frankly, she's never looked back. She's lost over 40 pounds. She's off all her medication. She's no longer taking insulin. Her metabolism has vastly improved. Her whole metabolic system has improved, which again, when I go through later in the presentation, you'll understand why. And you can just see her results. She's doing phenomenally, and we couldn't be happier for her and her family. So let me ask you a question. And if this does sound like you, go ahead and say yes in the side there. And again, this I would be saying yes as well. At least the old Patrick would be saying the yes, but the new Patrick would be saying no. But do you find yourself, you can gain weight easily, but then you struggle to take it off? And actually, every time you do a diet, it seems like you lose 10 pounds and gain back 15. I mean, are you unhappy the way you look? Have you ever overheard people talking about you behind your back? Kind of like what happened to Elizabeth. And you just don't know really what to do anymore. You've kind of had it. You've had it with everything, and you're about to give up. I mean, does this sound like you? Well, I can tell you, and you can see based on the comments in the chat roll, there's a lot of people saying yes. It's because you're not alone. This is a major, major problem. You know, there's a comment that they say most men live a life of quiet desperation. And that's kind of how you feel when you've been to the bottom and you've kind of given up. And then it's just a downward spiral of slowly gaining more and more weight, getting on more and more medication, and pretty much giving up in quiet desperation. And I can tell you what, I have been there. And so I'm not one of these guys who's got a six pack and sitting back saying, oh, you can do what I can do and always been fit. No, I wasn't. So let me tell you a little bit about my story so you can get some context. I can tell you that I've tried every diet under the sun, from eating grapefruits to the Hollywood diet to sticking electrodes on my stomach and watching them zap me as I drank beer. I've done it all. I've tried every workout, from cardio routines to boot camps to spinning, and I can tell you that nothing ever really worked. And so you can see on the left, you know, when I was 40 years old, I was 240 pounds. I was morbidly obese, had over a 38% body fat. And my waist is 42 inch. I can just tell you, when I was in college and into my mid 20s, I was 32-inch waist. I was thin, I was strong. And then once I hit my 30s, I got married. I have 4 kids. I'm an entrepreneur trying to run my own business. I put everything first besides myself. And look what happened to me. I literally fell apart. You know, that picture, I'm standing next to this boat. And here's the saddest thing is I've looked for pictures of myself from over this like 5 to 7 year period that I really kind of started just to balloon up. I could not find any because I did not want my picture taken. And I had little kids, and who wouldn't love to have pictures taken with your kids? I have plenty of pictures with my kids, but none of them were with me. Have you ever done that? Does that sound like something you do or you have done? If you have, say yes in the sidebar, because I have. And sadly, the only picture I could really find was this, now my famous Fat Pat picture. It's me sitting in front of this boat that I busted my tail to be able to buy. And the saddest part was I was so fat and out of shape, I couldn't water ski behind my boat like I used to. I couldn't do anything. I didn't even want to be on the boat with you know, I was always wearing my life jacket because I didn't want people to see my big fat belly. I mean, it was, quite frankly, it was embarrassing. And so I've done everything to try to achieve my dreams, which is buy a really cool boat, but yet I couldn't enjoy any of it because I was so out of shape. And that didn't really do it for me. I can tell you what did it for me. What really allowed me to see where I was at and realize how deep of a hole I was in, instead of just living a life of quiet desperation, which I was, is that when I was at the doctor, I found out that I had developed an autoimmune disorder, and it was 100% directly related to my lifestyle. And it freaked me out big time, because here I was thinking I was relatively young, which 40 years old is still pretty young, but yet I now have acquired this lifelong condition, which when most people have arthritis and rheumatoid arthritis, it doesn't end well as you age. And that's just a fact. And it was when I found that news out, I was like, I have to do more. I have to do something. I'm a smart guy. I'm going to do whatever it takes so I can be around for my 4 kids, and I can be active, and I can be the Patrick that I used to be and the Patrick that I want to be. And I can tell you, I would have done more. I would have, if I thought I was doing everything I could. I did every workout, every diet. I did it all. And, you know, if you went back and asked me, I thought I would do even more and more and more. The reality was I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know the science, and everything it turned out that I was doing was working against me, because my body was working against me and not for me. Well, I can tell you what, here's the good news. So here's a picture of me on the right. You know, I'm no Hollywood mogul or anything, but I'm in pretty decent shape. You know, I'm 48 years old. I weigh 170 pounds. I got 15% body fat and a 32-inch waist. And that used to be considered kind of normal back in the 70s, you know, but now I'm like extraordinary, to be honest with you. I look around and there's not a lot of guys my age that look like me. And so I'm pretty proud of that. And really what I wanted to do is share this with the world and share this with everyone and say, I've had these successes. How can I take this technology that I developed and this method that we developed and share it with everyone so everyone can have the results that I have? And as you saw from the pictures earlier, we have done that. So I want you to think, why does everything keep failing? You know, like I said, all the diets fail. Earlier in the webinar, they have acknowledged that their own diets fail. Well, I can tell you what, if you haven't realized by now, it's just not you. There are a lot of people on this webinar today who've also acknowledged that their diets have failed and their exercise programs have failed. The system is basically broken. And most diets and exercise programs, they will fail. The average diet lasts 52 hours and has a failure rate of 96.4%. These are facts, guys. Look at the bottom of the page. We reference everything. And the average exercise program lasts 3 weeks. I mean, think about that. Everybody does the New Year's resolution. I'm going to get in shape. Boom. By February, they're done, right? We've all done it. I've done it. We've all done it. And the thing is, because the system is broken, you don't know that it's broken. That's the thing. And that's what I'm going to teach you today. So have you been yo-yo dieting? And so the yo-yo dieting, and again, I'm going to start giving you some of the solutions to the problem. So yo-yo dieting confuses your body and it causes what we call a metabolic traffic jam, which is your brain's ability to get the signals from your body to make sure that we're eating at the right time, sleeping at the right time, our metabolism is in the proper area where it should be based on the amount of food that we're eating and the amount of exercise that we're doing. And I can tell you what, the biggest thing here, and this is the biggest takeaway, guys, is when you have a chronic metabolic traffic jam, which is pretty much the biggest problem we have right now, is people have a chronic metabolic traffic jam, and it actually changes what we call your body fat set point, and it raises it. And let me go a little bit into what we call this set point. So I've just said a word here, this body fat set point. You've probably never heard it before, but you've probably thought about it. You've probably acknowledged it somewhere. And as I say this, you're probably starting to think, set point. This sounds familiar, or I think it's real. So it is real, and it's been studied. And so the set point is basically your body's way of staying where it wants to stay. So if your body wants to be at 180 pounds, that's where it wants to be. So let's say you're, I don't know, 38-year-old female and you're 180 pounds. Have you noticed that you cannot really, you'll get to that higher weight, whatever your set point settles in this case, let's say it's 180 pounds. And that even though what you eat, even if you ate more than you normally would eat, or you binged ate or whatever, you'd end up always settling around that 180 pounds. Well, that's your body's set point. That's where your body thinks it needs to be. And then let's say you do this. Let's say you go on a restrictive diet, because that's what everybody tells you to do. You got to count calories. You got to count calories. You got to watch what you eat. You got to exercise more. So that's what we do. That's what I did. That's pretty much what everybody does, because that's what we're told to do. And so you go on a calorie restrictive diet. Let's say you lose 20 pounds. You're down to 160 pounds. Well, let me tell you what happens. And you know this because you've experienced it. And if you guys have experienced this, say yes on the side. Oh, yep, just as I thought. Because here's what happens. Because your body, again, wants to be at that 180 pounds that we talked about. And now you've forced your way down to 160. And along the way, this is what's happening, is you will actually feel hungrier. You will crave sugary and fattier foods. You'll start to eat what you consider a normal meal, but it will not fill you up. And your metabolism will actually slow way down. and you'll start to store more body fat, and you won't be able to burn body fat. Again, because your body wants to be back at that 180 pounds. It's going to fight you tooth and nail to get back there. There's nothing you can do about it. And so your body actually forces you back to this set point. But here's the problem, is now your body actually thought that it went through a famine because you were calorie restrictive. And again, based on our DNA and based on our ancestors, this is how our bodies work. We can't change the way our bodies work, guys. It's been set for a long time. The difference is our environment's totally changed. But the way our bodies work has not changed, and that's the problem. That's why we have this disaster of metabolic diseases, diabetes, obesity. It's because the environment we live in and our bodies have not adapted to that, and guess what? They will not be able to adapt to that fast enough, at least not in our lifetime, because we're already set in stone. So here's the problem. So you were that 180 pounds, but now your body's like, oh my gosh, I went through a famine. I was starving. And so I need to actually raise my body fat set point higher so I have more fat, because fat is my survival mechanism. And now I'm at 185 pounds. So now you've just gained 5 pounds. That's what we call the yo-yo diet. And this has happened to me. I've probably done it 10 to 15 times during my fat stage. And I kept on creeping up. I was like, man, how am I gaining even more weight every time I did a diet? So I'd do a diet, I'd lose the weight. I'd be cool for a couple weeks, but then my body was fighting me the entire freaking time. And next thing you know, not only did I gain the weight back, but I gained back a few more pounds. Well, this has happened. If it's happened to you, say yes in the comment bar. And based on the responses, yes, it absolutely, it happens. And this is the yo-yo diet. This is the phenomenon. This has all been studied and tested, guys. But the problem is, you know, nobody knows what's really going on. And so they keep on doing the same cycle over and over and over again. And you can't control it. So if you feel bad about yourself, don't. That's one thing I want you to get through. Even if you don't work with us and you don't feel that QuickHIT is the right method for you, that's great. But I want you to come away with one thing, and I want you to stop the guilt, and I want you to understand that it is not your fault and that you can't control it, because you are fighting evolution. You are fighting the way your body was built. And this is why diets always fail. This is not because you didn't have a lack of motivation or desire to lose weight. I mean, we've all done it. The 5 a.m. workouts, the starving ourselves practically, not eating these desserts when we want to, or eating anything. It's not because we didn't want to do it. It's because our bodies wanted us not to do it. It's because it's how our bodies work, guys. We can't change that. And you also, when you do all this, you cause more and more metabolic traffic jams. And this is why you gain more weight than you lost. It's the confusing signals you're giving your body. And it's basically a survival mechanism, as I said, that's built into every single one of us, that's lasted for thousands and thousands of years. And so when I say it's not your fault, it's your body's, it's your set point. That's your fault. That's the problem, is it's your body's set point. But here's the awesome news. This is the breakthrough. Everyone, what's the breakthrough? How do you come up with something that's a breakthrough? This is the breakthrough, guys. Your body fat set point is not set in stone. And I'm going to teach you how to get to you what we call your ideal body fat set point. Think about it. Your ideal body fat set point. Not the set point that's artificially higher because you did yo-yo diets and you did exercise things that you shouldn't have probably, that you thought were great for you. But what is your ideal body fat set point? And I'm going to teach you how to get there. So pay attention. It's really where you want to be. So if you pick a weight that you want to be at, the goal is to do things properly to get you to that weight, and then lower your set point along the way so you have your set point set at a lower level and it won't want to go back to a higher level. How do we do this? Okay, we do this with 3 things. Everybody says there's always 3 magic things. Well, at QuickHIT, we've come up with the 3 things as well. The first one is you got to eat your right foods. And we're going to talk about this. So with QuickHIT, you got your HIT, your HIT. Let's think about this in your 3 these are our three things. So for H is the first one. H is our first pillar, let's say. So the H stands for highly nutritious food. Okay, so when you sit down and look at a meal, I'm about to eat this particular food. Is it going to nourish my body? Is it going to give me vitamins, minerals? Is it going to give me protein? Is it going to give me even carbohydrates that I need? Yes or no? It's that simple. I'm not going to tell you you can only eat X amount of it. You can eat as much as you feel you need to eat, but it has to be the right foods, okay? And the second one is I. So what is the I? The I stands for your intent. What is your intent of eating? Are you depressed? Did you have a bad day at work? Are your kids driving you freaking crazy and they've gone to bed and you're like, oh man, I just need it. I'm going to have these cookies, right? What's your intent of eating? If your intent of eating is not to, again, to nourish your body and give you fuel, then I'm going to ask you not to eat it at that time. And then the T, and when I say time, this comes back to the T. The T is for timing, which is crucial. So when you eat is crucial to your success because we have to eat, again, in the way our bodies were designed to eat. So our bodies, you know, we are naturally all awake, hopefully during the day, unless we're shift workers, but most people are awake during the day. And when the sun is out, that's basically when your body wants to eat, okay? And as soon as the sun goes down, there's a lot of things that happen. You start to develop melatonin, certain things in your body start to shut down, such as your metabolism, because it's getting ready to actually go to sleep and do the repair mode. So if you think about it this way, during the day, our bodies are in the fuel mode. We're fueling our bodies. So while we're asleep at night, our body can get into repair mode. Okay, well, the problem is when you eat too late in the evening or throughout the night, sadly, what happens is you're interrupting this repair mode and our bodies cannot get into fuel mode, which means it's going to just basically store everything that you just ate as body fat. Okay, this is studied and well established, guys. It's called your circadian rhythm. And I'm sure you've heard of that, but it really, we want to start working with our body and not against our body. And when you do these things, the first pillar is what's going to happen is we can unclog that metabolic traffic jam, guys, which means we can start letting our body work for us and not against us. So now the signals that are running from your body to your brain are very clear, like from your stomach to your brain. They're very clear, right? So you're going to be hungry at the right times. You're going to feel full at the right times. Right now, when you have a clogged up, or when you're in the middle of a traffic jam and you're all stuck in traffic, those signals from your stomach to your brain are not really communicating very well. And they're not coming. So even though you ate a bunch of food, you may still feel hungry. We've all felt that, right? Again, that's really not your fault because your body is fighting. It's like, dude, I'm still hungry. And you're like, how could I possibly be hungry? I just ate all this Chinese food or whatever it was, but yet you're still hungry. Because that way you feel, you can't change the way you feel. And that's your body's reaction. There's all type of hormones that go on that control your hunger, that control the way you feel full. And so what we're able to do by unclogging your metabolic traffic jam is actually open up these signals and these pathways to allow you to communicate better with yourself. And so after you've eaten, you will feel satisfied and full. And after you've eaten a nice, say, steak or whatever, a highly nutrient dense protein, you'll feel satiated, which means you will feel full, which is what we want. And when you feel full, you don't binge eat, you don't snack, you don't crave sugary, junky foods. Okay, so how to eat the right foods and do the right exercises? Well, that's what we call the QuickHIT method, okay? So what is, again, the QuickHIT method? Well, it solves the problem we've already discussed earlier. It solves the diet and the exercise dilemma. So let's go over what you've tried, and let's all raise our hands and say, yes, we've tried these things. So we've all tried different diets. We've all tried the gyms. And unfortunately, you didn't realize this, but it was possibly raising your set point. And the other negative side of it, especially with a bad diet, is you're kind of turning your bad genes on. So we all have genes, we're born with certain genes, and this is called your epigenetics, but your genes will actually relay based on your environment and the way your body feels. And so you can have a bad gene, but the gene can actually be turned on or off. And when you come to QuickHIT, what we do is we guide you through with our therapeutic nutrition, our awesome exercise, which by the way only lasts 20 minutes and it's 100% safe, and it's robotically controlled. I've spent 5 years and $2 million to develop this system. And we call it eccentric training. And what's going to happen, guys, is we're going to lower your set point. We're going to lower your set point and get you to your ideal body fat set point, which means your body will be working with you and not against you. And this way we can turn the bad genes off instead of turning them on. And it's very simple. So if we do all these things, we're going to have success. But I can tell you success, it doesn't come overnight. We're not a 6-week deal. Okay. If you're in it, I should have started one of these, we're not for you if. Well, I can tell you one thing right now. If you've gotten this far through the presentation, we're not for you if you think this is going to be a 6-week quick fix. Because I can tell you what, it didn't take 6 weeks to get to where you're at. This is work. This takes real work. This takes dedication. And this is why at QuickHIT, everything is based around you. Everything is based around your accountability. Everything is based around making sure you hit your goals, and we will get there. But we want to do this permanently, and we want this to last forever. So based on this, we need to make sure that it takes time. And everybody is different. And this is why we treat every client different, and we measure metrics that nobody else does, because we want to show you how you're doing and prove to you how you're doing. And let's say maybe you had a bad couple weeks. We're going to see that, and we're going to communicate with you. And how can we help you do a better job? There's very few places that do that focus on you. This is why what we do is one-on-one. And when you come to QuickHIT, everything is one-on-one. It's a personal training experience, and it's a personal relationship. So does it work? Heck yeah, it works. Okay. I wouldn't have spent the last 5 years and over $2 million to develop the system if it didn't, because I'm not an idiot. Okay. I've been blessed with a lot of gifts, and this is probably the best gift I've been given for myself. And that's why I want to share it with everybody. And this is why we're opening these up all over the country. As a matter of fact, we're the fastest growing, what I would call fitness business, which we're not just a fitness business, we're a wellness business across the country. So check it out. You can go to any of our Facebook pages and see the awesome reviews, or go to our website and see the reviews. It's tremendous. We have many, many people who are very happy using our method and getting permanent lifelong results. This is like, you got to come to QuickHIT, maybe in the beginning, twice a week for 20 minutes. And then once we get you to your ideal body fat set point, then we need to defend that set point. And then you can come down maybe as little as once a week. I come to QuickHIT personally once a week because I'm at my ideal, what I want to be my ideal body fat set point. And I'm busy. Again, I have 4 kids. I'm running a couple businesses. And so I'm like, cool, I'm going to come to QuickHIT. I come once a week and I'm solid. I've never been stronger. I've never felt better. And the same thing with these people. I mean, if you read review after review after review, it's the real deal. So I want to talk about this last review, which is Holly. I can tell you, when Holly showed up at QuickHIT, she was in not a great place. She was in a pretty bad place. You know, she had herniated disc in her back. She was practically in a walker. And she was 30 pounds, 40 pounds overweight, maybe. I don't want to throw her out there too much, but she was definitely had a few extra pounds on her, which was affecting her, but not as much as her physical limitations. And this is where QuickHIT really shines, guys, because it's not based around a diet. Yes, we want you to eat better. That's why we call it therapeutic nutrition. Absolutely, because we got to unclog that metabolic traffic jam we talked about earlier, right? That's key. But the other thing is, and we don't talk a ton about it, is the exercise program. Guys, our machine, which I spent 5 years and over $2 million to develop, is amazing. It's the safest strength training, resistance training workout on the planet. It uses robotics to control everything. I mean, we have women putting down over 1,000-pound leg presses, which if you went to any gym, you would probably kill yourself. But because our machine meets you where you're at and adapts to you every microsecond because it's controlled by a robot, and we're able to do things that you just can't do simply anywhere else. You cannot get the same, what we call the stimulus to your body that you can at QuickHIT. And because of that, Holly has had an amazing transformation. She has lost weight. She is running around and she is back to her old self. And she was able to do it because she put herself first. And she worked with us and our trainers in our one-on-one environment, and we got awesome results. Even when she was having not a great week or two, you got people there to pick you up, because that's what it's all about. When you fall down, who's standing next to you to pick you up? I can tell you, the trainers at QuickHIT, who are all certified, these guys are no joke, right? The men and women who work at QuickHIT in every facility are trained exactly to perfection using our techniques. And they are experts at what they do. And so when you fall down, you need to be picked back up emotionally, they're there for you. As a matter of fact, our whole community is there for you. We have a private Facebook group that all our members get into. I mean, I haven't let people who aren't members join our Facebook group because it's so inspirational. We share recipes, we share successes, we share wins, sometimes some people share some down things. And that's awesome because you need a place to go and relate with people. And that's what QuickHIT is. Like QuickHIT, even though we're a one-on-one facility, because we believe you have to be in this one-on-one to really get to do the kind of deep work that we do. Again, you don't go to a doctor with your friends, do you? You know, everybody talks about, oh, I love these group workouts. Yeah, I love people who work out. I get that. The bottom line is it won't lower your body fat set point. As a matter of fact, it's actually going to raise it. But you can't get that accountability, and you cannot get the level of intensity that you need to develop when you come to QuickHIT. And that's what it's all about. But we want to give you that community that you feel you need, and we have that, okay? So you're not missing out on that. But again, just like I said, you don't go to the doctor with a group of friends, you don't go to a chiropractor with a group of friends and everybody get adjusted all at once. That's not how it works, guys. We're focused one-on-one to make sure that you get everything that you need, because it's about you. And it's about time. If you were like me, stop putting everybody else first and put yourself first, because believe it or not, once you're able to fix yourself and feel better, you're able to give so much more back to the people that you love and able to spend more time with them. And so you're not being selfish. As a matter of fact, it only takes 20 minutes twice a week. It's not a lot of time. So making that commitment is pretty easy. And Holly made that commitment, and Holly had phenomenal results. I want to talk to you real quick about Dr. Pavella, who's been a champion of mine and has really helped me realize my dream and my vision to get this off the ground, and kind of and help me understand that what I had was good and that it was relatable. And I will let him speak for himself.
As a practicing physician, you know, we take care of people with diseases, but we also do sort of advice on how to stay healthy, how to age well, how to avoid illness and diseases and injury. I heard about QuickHIT. It was more in its infancy, and I studied a little bit about the science, and I knew that the concept of eccentric muscle contraction had a lot of validity to it. It's known in running circles, it's known by physical therapists, and I knew it had good science. But I had never heard of a dedicated program to try and build strength using eccentric muscle contraction. So right away I was really interested. One of the other things I like about it is the one-on-one approach. You've got a trainer right by your side who's facilitating and watching you on a computer screen, watching how your muscles are doing, and can talk to you. And for 20 minutes intense time, you've got someone right by your side that's guiding your exercise. And I like that. I feel reassured by that. About 4 or 5 months before I retired, I was doing QuickHIT every week, not knowing how it would turn out. And actually, it turned out very well. You know, I actually noticed a difference in my ability to work. I did some very heavy work this past summer, rebuilding fence and, you know, using railroad ties and all this kind of thing. And I didn't get injured, and I actually felt a lot stronger. Now, I know this is a personal anecdote or testimony. Doctors understand this is, one person. But because of the science behind it and my own experience, I thought this is a pretty legitimate way of doing things, and as an alternative to the standard way of building strength.
Learn more at QuickHitFit.com.
This will be another quick little video. Another awesome member of the QuickHit team is Krista. She's got a doctorate in physical therapy. She's a superstar, rock star. She's 100% focused on doing what's right for our clients. And we're so lucky to have her on our team at QuickHit. And just check out what she has to say.
I've been in the fitness industry for 20 years now. I have my master's in exercise science, and then I also have a doctorate in physical therapy. So I've taught everything from spinning to step aerobics. I was also actually a college athlete. So I've pretty much done every workout you possibly could think of. So anyways, I started QuickHit, and I immediately knew there was something special about it. QuickHit is actually a safer form of exercise than the typical gym or typical boot camp class. Slow, controlled movement. The machine meets you where you're at, and you're always with a personalized one-on-one training specialist. We actually are going to get you to that point of muscular fatigue, where you aren't able to lift your arms or push another rep. And that may sound kind of daunting, but it's actually what is it going to increase your muscle. A lot of times people go to the gym and they're working out maybe at 50 to 75%, 4 or 5 days a week, and they never see results because they never get to that deep stimulus in the muscle to actually create muscle strength. I just have a real passion for helping people, and given this tool of our machine being able to help people and have it be effective and safe for them really is just it's just given me a better sense and a better passion for life and in the exercise industry to actually help people just have a better quality of life.
Learn more at QuickHitFit.com.
Okay, we got one more. I'm throwing a lot of doctors at you, but here's Dr. Marshall. Again, he's been working on QuickHit quite a while now. He's a Mayo Clinic physician, which means he does not joke around very often, and he's very serious. He's a phenomenal physician, and he knows what he's talking about. And here's a review that he wrote me, and he never really writes reviews, but I'll just kind of read out the last couple sentences where he talks about some of the science behind it and the machine that we developed. He says the QuickHit machine works each muscle group through a range of muscle motion with the smoothest resistance he has ever used compared to the full gamut of other strength training and equivalent methods that he's used in the past. The smooth resistance enables maximum muscle training while virtually eliminating injury. Guys, I want to go over this. Virtually eliminating injury. This is so important because there's so many people who do not like to lift weights or go to the gym, A, because they're somewhat embarrassed, or B, they don't know what they're doing, or C, they're lifting heavy things, they don't know how to do it, and they can get injured. Well, I can tell you what, even Dr. Marshall says here, you virtually eliminate injury because he uses the machine. The machine, it's virtually impossible to get injured with this machine because it adapts to you and where you're at. And he goes on to say, and it does this with optimum effectiveness in just 20 minutes per week. And this is a big thing because he's a pretty quiet guy and he doesn't like to put himself out there, but he feels so strongly about this technology that he was willing to share it with us because he wants us to share it with as many people as possible because he sees people day in and day out and what the current living environment has done for them, and he wants people to reverse these trends. And he says, rarely in my personal and professional life have I made an unqualified recommendation for anything. But having tried this program for 3 months, I'm very comfortable commending this program to persons of all ages without qualification or reservation. And I can say thank you, Dr. Marshall, for that awesome referral. And Dr. Marshall himself, when he walks in, you'd look at him and say, this guy was pretty fit. Well, again, we measure everything at QuickHit. He's actually lost 15 pounds, and he's gained close to 6 or 7 pounds of muscle, which Dr. Marshall is no spring chicken, and I can tell you that is phenomenal results. unbelievable results. Let me go through a couple more case studies, because again, proof is in the pudding, guys. I can sit here all day long and say this is the best thing, but unless you can see, has it worked for other people? Absolutely it has. So this is the type of stuff that we measure and the type of stuff that you see. So every time you come to QuickHIT, we actually measure your body composition. And this has got a tremendous value to it. So we get your weight and we get your body composition considering your percent body fat and also your lean muscle mass. So here's Sally. Boom, you can see by the chart, these real charts from real clients. You know, she's lost over 15 pounds. Most importantly, she's lost that body fat. So what does that tell you? This goes back to, as she lowers this body fat, she's resetting her body fat set point. So she will be able to keep these things off, right? So yeah, it's great. She lost 15 pounds. Normally, if she did this with like a crash diet or did this with tons of cardio and all these other negative influences that your body interprets as a stress, then she would balloon back up to 20 pounds, right? We talked about the science behind that. Well, with the QuickHIT method, she's losing weight. She is resetting her body fat set point. And as she goes down, it's going to go down and she will be able to thin that. And so when she gets to what she considers and she feels like is her ideal weight and her ideal body fat level, her body will recognize that. And that's where she'll be. And no matter if she's had a few cheat days or whatever's happening, as long as she continues to come to QuickHIT and get that linchpin of success, which is the workout, which gives your body that perfect stimulus, at least once a week, she will be able to defend that new lower set point and kind of go off the rails and eat whatever she wants, because that's what I've experienced. That was many of our other clients have experienced. So I throw myself in here again, but again, over Christmas this year, I ate so much food. I was eating in excess of 4,000 calories a day of pure junk. Guys, I didn't gain any weight. I didn't work out any extra either. What it was is my body was happy at my 15% body fat, right? And so it wanted to defend that. And so it naturally revved up my metabolism and did everything it could to take that weight off naturally. So my body was working with me and not against me. Here's Kim. Again, this is real data coming at you. She's lost 19 pounds. Again, 5% body fat. Okay, it's about losing body fat, guys, and just not weight. And at the same time, we maintain our muscle mass, right? And at some point, you'll actually increase your muscle mass. But generally, when you go on some type of crash diet, man, you lose everything. You'll lose body fat, but you'll probably lose more muscle than body fat, because your body will actually take your muscle before it will take your fat. And so when you go on these diets, a lot of the weight you lose is not good. If you start losing lean muscle, that's what controls your metabolism. You've always heard that, like muscle burns more than fat. Well, it's true. And so using the QuickHIT method, by implementing our strategies and using the therapeutic nutrition combined, again, with our efficient, safe workout, which only takes 20 minutes, which affects your epigenetics, which affects your genes, turns the good genes on, the bad genes off, you're going to have success, and we're going to stay there. Okay, so I've shown you the results. I've told you about our theory and told you why you have failed in the past and why it's not your fault. I hope we all understand that. Say yes if you do. Okay, and again, none of this is your fault, but based on the information you just received, if you continue to do the same thing over and over again, you're going to get the same results. I can guarantee you that, right? So this is where you got to ask yourself. This is what we call, back when I played football. This is when coach said, guys, it's gut check time. What are you going to do? Are you actually going to make a decision that matters? Are you going to play your hardest? Are you going to give me everything you got? Are you ready to rewrite your history? Because at QuickHIT, using our method, we're guaranteed you will achieve your ideal body fat set point. We're going to want to work with our bodies instead of having our bodies work against us. You're going to shed that body fat. You're going to build lean muscle. And guess what? You're going to be able to keep it off and not worry about it again. And so here, you stuck around to the end. And this is where I want you. It's gut check time. I want you to spend another 30 minutes with me. And this is totally free. As you see the link below, that's a link where you're going to schedule a time, a 30-minute phone call, total health evaluation with one of our experts. okay? Spend 30 minutes where we can get to know you and get to understand what your needs are, because this is about you, not about us. And this is totally 100% free. So we want to invest the time to get to know you and see if we're a good fit for you. And most, quite frankly, are you a good fit for us? Because I said in the beginning, not everybody is a good fit for QuickHIT. We don't want people who are in this halfway, right? Everybody who comes here, we're going to make sure that they're a success. But if they get in their own way, we can't help that. And we don't want to work with those people. We want to work with people who are in it to win it. We want the people who are ready to go, you know what? I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm tired of making excuses. I'm tired of putting my wealth before my health. And if I actually invest in myself, I'm going to get, the returns will be incredible. I really appreciate everybody coming out and taking advantage of this presentation. Okay, so hold on for a couple more seconds. This link, you should actually be redirected to this link as soon as this webinar is over. So as soon as we shut this page off, hopefully the technology gods will look down on us and you will actually, this will flash up on your screen and you can click on that link and schedule that time. And you know what? If you don't click on it, you don't schedule the time, then thank you for taking the time to at least listen to what I had to say. And when you're ready to finally make a choice, we're going to be here. But I can tell you, every day you wait, it gets harder and harder and harder. And you must move now. It's gut check time. It's time to get in the game, time to make some changes. Thanks again. I appreciate everybody.